But again, that's another real estate play. We're buying the real estate.
So let's talk about that. Like, you guys create your own concepts, but then you're also in some established concepts. So if we're talking about, sort of how this podcast is we're geared towards like the real estate aspect. So you guys are also investors looking at like buying and owning and like controlling the real estate portion.
It's part of the vertical integration, in my opinion, of the whole process.
Let's talk about that from an operator standpoint, because I'm sure, plenty of brokers, plenty of developers, lenders, investors, but there's going to be a good portion of people that see this that are like, well, I was looking at this, franchise concept, and I could go pay $45 a square foot for rent. You already know the franchise is going to charge you franchise fees. How quick does that number start going down?
Yeah.
So when you
mean the profitability number?
Yeah. So when you're sitting there and weighing out, franchise, the franchise might make a lot more sense if you look at the real estate side, like what you and I were talking about, in the office. So like where's the future, and like, how do you guys see this when you're looking at the real estate? Like, give us a little insight into how you and Mike and some of the other investors kind of, identify what you want to do.
Well, I mean, it's morphed over the last 12 months for sure.
Yeah.
We've come to realize, knowing it's hard. It's hard because I have lots of guys that are landlords that I'm friends with, and I understand they have to make money, right? Somebody like some guys like us, I'll do a rent deal, but it's going to be hard for me to do now, because now that we own some of the properties, it's just the advantages are just night and day. Right now, I know it's harder. It's more money to get, right? So it's
you control your rent costs.
You control, you're paying yourself, right? So you're buying a tangible asset, and the tangible asset, if the business goes under, I can put another business in there. I can come up with another concept, right? I can do other things. You can sell it. You can do certain things. So going out and doing a lease these days in some of these areas, you just can't sell enough product in our space because the margins are so thin.
Or the life cycle of concepts.
Right. The margins are that's another thing.
New capital reinvestment.
Concept cycles, especially in certain realms, like say, for example, a nightclub, they turn over every couple of years. And, they'll be doing $10 million, but they'll cost you $8 million to build. And then when do you start going into the black? When do you get an ROI? It's almost, I don't know how some of them do it. Like, and I'm not calling out like, what is it, Backyard, or which used to be Sandbar, those guys. Yeah. I just look at that building and I'm like, the one in Gilbert, I'm like, man, that thing is massive. They did a huge changeover from Sandbar to Backyard. How much did that cost? 3 or 4 mil, maybe 2. Let's just even go low. We say 2. I know what I have to sell to make $2 million, and it's exorbitant amount of product, right? I'm not saying they don't do it, and obviously they're successful. I just don't know, because I'm not involved on that side. But I know,
and you get a headache thinking about it.
Yeah, I know that if I can go out and find a building for $1 million and turn it into a Rusty Buckle or a DTC or something like that, and
has a longer lifespan.
Yeah, and I also know that I get to control the rent, or our team does, or whatever. And so you're making money on the business, you're making money on the rent, and then you can sell. Again, getting into the restaurant business and the real estate, it really is 2 totally different aspects of things, but they can be very profitable. I mean, being able to do something like, and I'm using Rusty Buckles because it's kind of our first one where we bought both land and the business.
Yeah.
If I could just stamp that model out multiple times, we'd be having different conversations, because it's just, that model works so well. But again, it's also in a spot where we define a need and for the community. And, and then of course you're going to get hate because the other businesses around there are like, what the fuck coming in here? But hey, step your game up. The market dictates everything. The people and their dollar dictate everything you're doing. You know this. Yeah. People are going to spend their money where they're getting their value. So bring them the value. I can't help it if you down the street, or you over here, or I want everybody to see. I hate seeing people fail. I've seen it a million times. I've failed. I hate seeing it because some people will just let it ruin them, right? But again, I'm not going to go out there and not put my best foot forward. And Mike and I will, we'll lose our shit if our product is not what our product is supposed to be when we walk in the door. You know, it's just, it's non-negotiable.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, want to catch the entire episode of this Rent Stew podcast, click right here. If you're loving the Rent Stew podcast and you want to see more episodes, click right here. And as always, stay hungry, my friends.